Imagine if the man you were just beginning to fall for, the one who seemed to understand your soul, was hiding a truth that could shatter your blossoming connection. A truth whispered not by him, but by his own family? Well, this is Amara's story. Welcome, dear listeners, to Narrated by Abi, where we explore the intricate dance of destiny, the silent whispers of the heart, and the unexpected turns that shape our lives. Your support means everything. Amara lived a life that hummed with a quiet, confident energy in the vibrant heart of London. In her early 30s, with skin the color of rich mahogany and eyes that sparkled with intelligence and warmth, she was a vision of grace and self-possession. Her career as a digital strategist was thriving. Her flat in Notting Hill was a sanctuary of curated comfort, and her friendships were deep and enduring. She was content, but open to the possibilities that life might still unfold. One crisp autumn afternoon, a call came from Chloe, a former colleague from a previous agency. "You won't believe what I just heard," Chloe's voice bubbled with a mixture of amusement and intrigue. "Remember David? Tall, quiet, the accountant from way back? Well, he just let slip that he had the biggest crush on you, back in the day." Amara's brow furrowed in surprise. David, she remembered him, of course. A genuinely kind man, always impeccably dressed, with a quiet intensity that she'd always found intriguing. But a crush? It was a revelation. In a funny twist of fate, a few years prior, Amara had even tried to set him up with one of her friends, a vivacious artist named Simone. The attempt had been well-intentioned, but ultimately unsuccessful. They hadn't quite gelled, a fact Amara had attributed to a simple lack of chemistry. Chloe, sensing Amara's surprise, pressed on. "He still talks about you, you know? Says you're the one that got away. I told him he's an idiot for not saying anything. But look, I'm seeing him for drinks next week. Would you mind if I set up a casual chance encounter? Just for old time's sake?" Amara hesitated for a moment. The idea was absurd, yet undeniably appealing. A part of her, the part that believed in serendipity, was curious. "All right," she finally conceded, a smile playing on her lips. "But make it look convincing, Chloe. No awkwardness." The meeting was indeed set, a seemingly spontaneous gathering at a bustling bar in Shoreditch. David, taller and even more distinguished than she remembered, his smile a little shy, a little hesitant, was genuinely surprised to see her. Their initial conversation was a delightful dance of shared memories and catching up. The years melted away, replaced by an easy camaraderie that surprised them both. They talked about their careers, their travels, their dreams. There was an undeniable spark, a comfortable rhythm to their conversation that felt both new and deeply familiar. That evening stretched into weeks, then months. They started spending more time together, their dates evolving from casual drinks to long, meandering walks through Hyde Park, deep conversations over late-night coffees, and cozy evenings watching classic films. David was a revelation. He was thoughtful, attentive, and possessed a quiet wisdom that resonated deeply with Amara. He listened intently, remembered small details, and offered insights that often surprised her. He was, she realized, everything she had unconsciously been searching for. He began to speak of a future together, not in grand, sweeping declarations, but in subtle, hopeful suggestions. A shared life, a home filled with laughter, a partnership built on mutual respect and understanding. Amara found herself envisioning it, seeing how their lives could intertwine, how their individual strengths could complement each other. The idea of a shared future with David, once a distant thought, was now taking root, a warm and comforting presence in her heart. Then the subtle shift. David began to press for intimacy, his words laced with a gentle urgency. "We're adults, Amara," he'd say, his eyes warm with desire. "Our connection is undeniable. Why wait?" Amara, however, lived by a strict moral code. For her, intimacy was a sacred bond, a deepening of connection that required time, trust, and a clear commitment. It was too soon, she felt, to complicate their carefully nurtured relationship with physical intimacy. She explained her boundaries, her need for emotional security before physical closeness, and David, though seemingly disappointed, appeared to understand. Until one day, Amara had arrived at David's elegant flat in Canary Wharf earlier than expected, intending to surprise him with his favorite coffee. As she approached the living room, she heard voices, David's, and another, deeper, more authoritative male voice. She paused, about to announce her presence, when a snippet of conversation froze her in her tracks. "She's not a fit for our family, David." The voice, unmistakably his older brother's, boomed. "She's already in her early 30s. You should be considering a younger woman, someone who can give you a proper legacy, someone who fits into our expectations." Amara's blood ran cold. She stood motionless, her heart hammering against her ribs, the carefully constructed image of their future shattering around her. David's response was a mumbled, almost apologetic tone, something about Amara being different, special. But the damage was done. The words, sharp and precise, had pierced through her carefully guarded optimism. She pretended not to have heard, quietly backing away from the door, her presence undetected. She left the coffee on the doorstep, a silent testament to the future that would never be. The walk home was a blur, her mind reeling with the cruel irony of it all. She had been so careful, so deliberate in her approach to their relationship, only to discover that the unseen obstacle was not a lack of chemistry or a difference in values, but a judgment based on something as arbitrary as her age, whispered by a family she hadn't even met. That evening, Amara called David. Her voice was calm, devoid of the emotion that raged within her. She spoke of their differing expectations, of a future that, she now realized, was not meant to be. David was stunned, confused, his protests a jumble of apologies and reassurances. He spoke of his feelings, of his desire for her, but Amara, her heart hardened by the overheard conversation, knew it was a hollow plea. She broke up with him first, before he could waste her time further, before he could inflict any more damage on her spirit. Amara emerged from the experience bruised but not broken. The pain of the betrayal was sharp, but the clarity it brought was invaluable. She realized that true love, true partnership, could not exist where there was hidden judgment and unspoken disapproval. She had dodged a bullet, a life of constant validation and subtle undermining. The story concluded with Amara, standing tall and resilient, her eyes still sparkling with intelligence and warmth, ready to embrace a future where her worth was not measured by her age or her family's expectations, but by the strength of her own spirit and the unwavering belief in her own intrinsic value. The unseen obstacle had been revealed, and Amara, with quiet dignity, had chosen her own path. If this story of unseen obstacles and the quiet strength of self-worth resonated with you, then you're in the right place. Support Narrated by Abi by liking this video, subscribing to our channel, and hitting that notification bell so you never miss a moment of truth. Your support helps us bring these compelling narratives to life.